Okay, last session I was just telling you about the different types of condition checking statements for us. So one of the condition checking statements we discussed is if. We have one more, what you call it as switch. We'll talk about the if and switch again later, we'll discuss them. So now let us talk about the scope. So what do you mean by the scope of the variable? Okay, we'll talk about the scope of the variable now we'll talk about, or what we call it as the life of the variable. Okay, what is that life we are talking about? That means what will happen is if you are declaring a variable, that variable will be available up to that particular block. The scope of the variable or the life of the variable is going to be only up to that block for us. So if you're just coming out of that block where the variable is declared, you cannot access it. So what do you mean by that? We'll take one example. So I'll use my Eclipse. So my Eclipse shortcut is there for me on my desktop. I'm just giving a double click on this. It will start my Eclipse. Okay, so last class we created a project, okay, by name called Java 31. Now we'll do one thing, we'll create one more project, we'll create, or so if you want to see the files from that particular project, you can see in the package explorer, you'll see that. So last class we created a file. So first.java, just I'm clicking on that one. So I'm opening my project explorer and then I'm clicking on my file. Now you see that double click I'm using, it's going to open my file there. Okay, whatever the file that we are creating with. You can see the file over there from that. Okay, now we will talk about the scope of the variable. Scope means what we call it as how long you can use that particular variable. It's what we call it as scope. Now I'm declaring a variable here. Let us say that I'm declaring a variable called Z here. So this variable you can use it inside that particular block. So what is the block now here? The block here is this one. The statements which are going to be enclosed in these flower braces, it's called a block. Okay, the statements which are enclosed in the flower brace, it's called a block for us. Okay, if I'm declaring a variable here, that means I can use within this block, I can use it. Or let us say I'm having the variable, I'm declaring it here, then that variable will be available only inside this block. So within the set of flower braces where the variable is declared, there only it is going to be made available for us. If I come out of that particular block and if I'm trying to use that one, that gives me an error. We'll do one thing, we'll take an example for the if and then we'll discuss that. Okay. Before we talk about this one, now I want to read the data from the user. Now here what we do is I'm assigning the value 10 to the variable called Z there. So here what I'm doing, every time I run my program, it will be the same value 10 will be there. Now instead of that one, now I want to have something where the value of the variable I want to get from the user. I want to get the data from the user. So if I want to get the data from the user, what we can do is we have a class called scanner class in there. So this scanner class will help me to read the data from the user. How do I make use of this scanner class? Scanner class, some object will be using it is equal to new scanner class will be writing it. Okay, now remember this scanner class, what you are going to use, this takes an argument. It takes some data from you. So what is the data it takes from you is it will ask you from where you are going to pass, from where you are going to read the data. I want to read my data from the input device called keyboard. Now in your Java, the device keyboard is associated with an object what you call in object. So that in object is available for you in the system class. That is what I'm doing. I'm going to pass system.in. I'm going to pass. The in is an object which is associated with the device called keyboard. Now, if I want to read the data from the device called keyboard, then what I'll be doing is I'll be making use of my scanner class, and then for the scanner class, I'm passing system.in as my argument. Okay, fine. Now in this scanner class, we are having so many methods. Are there in my scanner class. What are the methods that are there in my scanner class? Means in the scanner class, we have the methods which will help me to read the different types of data types you want to read. So for example, you want to read the string type of data, that is characters you want to read. you can use a method called next method can be used, or you can also use one more method called next line. Okay, these two methods we can make use of it when I want to read the string data. That is set of characters I want to read. If I want to read the numbers, okay, let us say you want to read the integer value you want to read, then we have a method called next int. So we are having a method called next int. So if I'm using this method called next int, it will read the integer value. So let us see how to make use of this. Now here when I'm typing the scanner class, it says that, oh, 1 minute, I'll just remove this hash map. Okay. Now when I'm going to use this scanner class when I'm typing, it says, see, it is what it is doing. For the scanner class, it is underlying as red wavy line is given for us. The red line is given for us. Now, what does it indicate for me? Let me see. I'll move my mouse pointer over there. So once I'm moving my mouse pointer over there, you see that there is a small pop-up message comes out saying that, so something is wrong with you, that you have to fix it up. So it says that, I mean, Eclipse is trying to identify what is the problem there, and it is trying to fix that. So it has given you so many suggestions it has given for you. So one of the suggestion is it has asked you to create a class called scanner. Let us not worry about creating the classes right now. So there is one option available, what you call, you need to, the quick fix is import scanner class you have to write. So now this scanner class is a part of a package called util. I'm selecting that. Now you see on top it is going to add Java import java.util.scanner. It is going to add this. So once this import command is added, now you see that this message what is there, right? That has been the red wavy line which is showing for you. It's been removed for you. Now I want to read the data from the user. So what I do is, so I'll say system.out.print. I'm writing. I'll say type a number. Type a number I given. Okay. So I want to read the number. So I've given the first message I given. Then I want to read the number. To read the number, so we said that we are having a method available called nextInt. So this method called next is a part of the scanner class. So I have created an object called obj there. So obj dot, I'll write next int. I'm writing it, the method. So once I'm using this next int, what will happen? It will wait for the user to type a number. Now once the number you are typing, that will be stored into the variable called z. Okay. Now let us write a small program which is going to read two numbers from the user, and it's going to print the sum of the two numbers. Right. So now I want to write a program here to read two numbers and print the sum. Okay. So now I've read first number. See, it depends upon you what variable name you want to use it. Okay, I'll prefer to use a variable called n1 for the first number. Now I want to read one more value I want to read. So I'll give a message to the user, type the another number, type one number, one more number I want it. So type second number. Okay, what the message you are giving, it is your wish. See, any message that you are going to give it, that is anything that you are going to put into double quotes, that is printed as it is onto the screen for you. Now, so I want to have one more number, I'll say n2. Now I'm using this variable called n2 that also has to be declared. Okay, I want to get the summation. For the sum, I'll take another variable called sum. Now, what I'm doing, I want to calculate the summation. So the sum is equal to n1 plus n2 we are going to write. n1 plus n2 we are going to write. Yeah. Any variable name you can take it. Any variable name can be taken. If you want, you can take a variable name called sum. If you want, you can take a variable name called n3. Or I want to take another variable called result. You can take that variable called result. Okay. So any name you want, you can use it there. It's what you call identifier. It is called. Okay. It's called the identifier. Now there is one small question for you. So the R&D work. Yesterday also I gave you one R&D work, but you didn't get back to me. There is now then R&D work for you. So what is that R&D work is? So you need to find out some words are there for us. So the R&D for you. What is that? So yesterday's, this is slash asterisk asterisk, and some comments will be writing something you're going to write, and then this one, the first one, the yesterday's, this is second one. I want to find out, you people to find out what is called reserved word, or we call it as a keyword. Okay. And we want to have one more word called identifier. Okay. One more word called identifier. Then for the identifier, we have what we call rules of identifier. Rules of identifier. Also, I want you to find out. Okay. This is the R&D work for you. Okay. So this is what yesterday's you not reported it. Yeah. You can send it anywhere. You can send it. You can send it by WhatsApp. You can send it by mail. So yesterday I told you in the classroom. I said I didn't say anything in the WhatsApp. Okay, fine. No problem. We'll discuss that. So today's you remember it. So that is you need to find out. One is called the word. No, sorry, reserve word, or what you call a keyword. We call it as, and other one is identifier. Along with that, you need to tell me what are the rules for the identifier. So what do you mean by identifier? What do you mean by keyword, or what you call the reserve word? You need to find out, and you have to tell me the rules of that one. So make a note, right? See, everything you cannot put in your brain. If you want to put everything in your brain, it's very difficult. Sometimes I need to write down things. Okay. Take a notebook and then just write down what is that you have to search for. Okay. Okay. So Lokesh says this is the comment that the letter will highlighted the word. So there are two comments. We discussed three different types of comments. So one is called slash asterisk, other one is double slash. That is a double slash is called a single line comment. So if you want to have multi-line comment, if you want to have it slash asterisk and then so ending with asterisk and slash. There is one more what you call slash double asterisk. So is it the same both? No. So there is a difference there. Now I want you to find out what is that is. Okay. I want you to find out what is the double asterisk is. Okay. Fine. Find out that and get back to me. Now the variable what you are declaring it here called n1 or n2 or sum, right? They are called the identifiers. The variables whatever we are declaring, they are called the identifiers for us. Now these identifiers, they have certain rules for us. We have certain rules for the identifiers. So you will discuss that. You need to get back to me with the rules of the identifiers. Okay. You can use a variable called sum, or let us say you want to use a variable called res. You want to use it. You can use a variable called res. So I mean res is result. Generally, when you are going to declare the variables, we declare the variables which are as per the context. As per the context. That means what I am using it. Okay, I'm reading numbers. I prefer a name like n1, name like n2. So I want to find out the result. I'll use a variable called res, or I'm using for the summation. I can use it as sum variable. Like that you can use. Understood? Like that, what you can do is you can define the names of the variables as per the context. That means what you are doing in your program. Okay. According to your program, the variables can be declared there. Or if you feel that, okay, I don't want to use a variables called n1 and n2, you want to use a variable called a, b, you want to use it. Yes, that also can be used.
Sometimes you can directly use the numbers in initialization.
See, you can also put the values. Yesterday we did what a is equal to 10, something like that. Yeah. So that what happens every time, whenever you run the program, the value remains same. It will be the same value to be doing it. But I don't want that one to happen. I want to change the value of my variable. I want to give different values. I want to give it, and I want to see how my program is working. Then I read the data from the user. So let us see this again now. We'll just discuss that. So I'm writing sys-o, I'm writing, and then I'm using control plus spacebar I pressed. So it is automatically completing me system.out.println it has completed for me. Now I want to print the sum of the numbers. I'm writing sum of the numbers equal to, see, whatever you write in double quotes, that will be printed as it is when we talk about your system.out.print or println. Okay, double quotes. Then I'm writing there plus that variable. Sorry, we use a variable called res. Now let us see this program. I want to run the program. So to run the program, what you will do, you'll click on this play button. The play button you see, that's what you call a run, it is called. So I used to call it as a play button because it will play my program. Okay, so it's similar to your tape recorders play and all that. Okay, video player. Right, I'll just click on the play button, or we can also use the right click. Then you can use the option called run as, select this Java application. It will ask me a number. So first number I'll give it as 10, enter. Second number I'll give it as 20, enter. Now I'm getting the sum of the numbers is 30. So I've given two different set of numbers now. Again I run my program. It will ask me numbers. I'm giving different number of different set of numbers I'm giving. So I'm getting the result.
Then you can do in 5, 10, 40, 5, floats. Then you can like this for floats.
Okay, so I understood what your question. We'll explain it. Now here what we are doing, we are going to ask you to enter the integer value. Now I'll run my program. So what I'm doing is 10 is an integer, but 10.4 is float number. Now let me give the float there. So what has happened? It has given me the exception. It has given for me. It has given me the error saying that the data that you are given is not of the correct format. No, it is not the correct format. What we are trying to read, an integer, but you have entered float value. So system says what? It is an incorrect format. So if you want to read the float number, you want to read. So then I don't want to use the next int form method. I'll not use. I'll use a method called next float. So we have a method called float here. So next float. Okay, so we have a method called next float is there. So this next float is a method which will read the float values. See what you want to read from the user. You want to read a string or you want to read a number. In numbers, we have float and integers, or what you call real numbers and integers. So if you want to read the float value, you have to use next float. If you want to read the double value, you have to use next double. You want to read a string, you can use next or next line. Both can be used. What is the difference between next and next line? Means in case of next, it read only one word. If you use the next line, it will read a complete line of text. That means if you are going to have multiple spaces, it will read after the spaces also. When I'm using only next, it will ignore after the space. We'll take the example and we'll discuss. Okay. Now here, I cannot use a float here because I'm using the variable is integer variable. So if I'm using float, it says that is an error. So I'm supposed to use only int now.
Okay. You can use float value. You can directly go to integer value also. Float value.
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
ఇప్పుడు ఇంటిజర్ ఫ్లోట్ వాల్యూ ఇచ్చాం సార్ ఫ్లోట్ ఇక్కడ ఇన్స్టలేషన్ లో ఫ్లోట్ వాల్యూ ఇచ్చాం అవుట్పుట్ రావాలని కానీ మనం అవుట్పుట్ లో వచ్చేసి ఇంటిజర్ వాల్యూ ఇచ్చాం 10 ఇచ్చాం ఇక్కడ ఫ్లోట్ వాల్యూ ఇన్స్టేట్ చేసి అక్కడ ఇంటిజర్ వాల్యూ ఇచ్చినా అవుట్పుట్ వస్తుంది డైరెక్ట్ ఫ్లోట్ వాల్యూ తీసుకొస్తారు అప్పుడు ఇంటిజర్ వాల్యూ తీసుకోకూడదు ప్రోగ్రామ్
Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm using float. So next I'm writing next float. I'm writing. So I'm using float now. Okay, so I'll save my program and then I'll click on the play button. So now I'm typing the number. I'll just say 10.4. The second number 12.9. I'm 13.9. I'm giving. So I got the answer. Okay. So now let us run the program again. Now remember, if I'm giving an integer value, okay, still it works for me. It works for me, right? Okay. So my answer is in float for me. The number, like whatever you're giving the number, it adds and it gives you the results there. Okay. So that's how you can read the float values and integer values. You can read it. Now this is a small program that we wrote. So where we are going to read two numbers and we are going to print the sum of the two numbers, right? Okay. Now I want to write another small program I want to write now. Okay, what is my program is? I'll just write the shortcut called WAP. So WAP stands for write a program. So which reads a number and prints it's a odd or even number. I want to read a number and I want to tell the number is odd or even. Now, when you say that, how do you tell, for example, 10 is what? It's an even number. The number like 9, this is an odd number. So how do you tell it's an odd or even? Right. So divide the given number. Okay. Divide the number by 2 and check the remainder. Okay. So we need to check the remainder. Now, how to get the reminders? How to get reminders for us? So how to get the reminders for us? So in our Java, we have what mathematical operators are there, right? So that is plus is there, minus is there, multiplication is there. Okay. This is division is there. So this is it gets me the quotient. Okay. This gets me the quotient. We have one more operator there called percentage. So this is, you call it as modulus operator, or this gets me the reminders. Okay. This gets me the reminder. For example, I'm writing 10% 3. If I'm writing, it gives me the reminder what? 1. If I'm writing 10/3, I'm writing, what will give? Right. So that means you are not observing. So 10, if I'm dividing it by, sorry, we want to divide by 2, kada? So 10, I'm dividing it by 2. So I'll get my reminder as 0. So 10, I'm dividing it by 2. So what will be the quotient for me? The quotient is 5 for me. Right? Understood? So you divide a number by 2 and check the remainder. What is the remainder? So is it I'm getting the remainder as 0 or I'm getting the remainder as 1? If I'm getting the remainder as 1, it is said to be an odd number. If I'm getting the remainder as 0, it is said to be an even number. Okay, let's see that program. You see. So now we want to write the program. What is that program we said? We want to write a program. 1 second. So this is my program which is going to read the two numbers and print the sum, right? I'll just copy this. Okay, I'll just paste it here. Read two numbers. Where is it? It's gone. We didn't write? Okay. This is my program. Right, this is a program which is going to read two numbers and it's going to print me the sum of those two numbers. Now we want one more program to be written, so where we read a number, only one number you want to read it, and then I want to print it as an odd number or even number. So how we are going to do it? So this program, what we did, we read two numbers. No, I don't want two numbers, I want only one number. So what I do is, I'll remove the second number. So this one, I'll just remove it. Okay, I'm removing the second one. Now I want, okay, only one number. So I'll say n1. And then I'm taking one more variable called res. I'm taking it for the result. So why this result variable I'm going to use it? I'm using this result variable for getting the remainder. So n1 %2 I'm going to write. I'm writing %2 here. Now observe here what is going to happen for me. I'm now, instead of just giving this, I'll say reminder. I'm just giving it as a reminder is equal to plus res I given. Okay. So let's run that. So I'm giving 10.4. I'm giving it. Now what is the reminder I'm getting? 0.3333 something I'm going to get it. No, I don't want that one to happen. So I want to have the reminder is going to be either 1 or 0. I want to tell. Then what I'm doing, instead of using float, I'll take it as integer. I'm taking it. Okay. So here, when I say integer, so I'll be writing it as next int. I'll be using it. Okay. Right. Okay. Or we'll do one thing. We'll continue with the float only. Float only will continue. So let us give the number 10. I will give it. So I'm getting reminder is 0.0. Right? Float value. I'm getting the answer in float 0.0. So if I'm giving, when I run it, I'm giving an odd number, I'm giving it. You see that you're getting 1.0. Okay. Now, what we said, we need to check the reminder. So what I do is I check is my result value is double equal to 1. 1 means it is odd. Okay. So I'll take this out. Okay. It is odd number. So otherwise, so we want to tell it as sys out. It is even number. Okay, I'll save it. Now I'll run my code. So I'm giving 10. It says what? Even number. I'll run it again. I'll give some odd number I'm giving it. You say it's an odd number, right? So we are just printing the reminder also. We don't want to print the reminder, not necessary. I'll just make it one a remark statement. That means the command will be there, but that will not be executed by Java for us. That it will ignore that command, whatever the command that you have written there, that is going to be ignored, and it is not, you will not see the result of that particular command. Okay, that is what we call it as comment. Okay, so generally we write the comments for our own understanding purpose, right? Whatever we want to do it, that will be writing there. Understood there? What it?
W.
Huh?
W.
And double also you can make use of it, no? So instead of using next float, you'll use next double. So there is another method called next double is it? That method you'll be using it like that. Okay. So which method you want, you can use that method. So either you can use, you want to read the integer value, you'll use next int. You want to read the float value, you'll use next float. You want to read the string value, only one word, next you'll be using it. You want to read a sentence like thing, like multiple spaces are also there, that also you want to read, you'll use next line, you'll be using it. Understood? Like that, you can make use of the different types of methods which are available that you can make use of it, and you can do your programming at Meda. You understood this? So every time I'm running it, it'll ask me a new number. So I type a new number, I'll see the result based upon the new number. Otherwise, what we can also do is we can assign the value here. So this one n1 is equal to some value also you can put here. Every time you run the program, what will happen? Only that value it will be working with. Okay. But I don't want to do that one. I want to read the numbers from the user. So I'm going to use this. Right? Okay. Any questions here? Anything that you have not understood? Any questions here? Any questions? Any questions? You understood this? How we are working? Okay. So I'll do one thing. Stop the class for a few seconds, and then we'll join with using the same link. So before we join it, I'll give one small assignment one for you to try, and you have to submit the result right now in the class. Okay, let's stop the sharing now. I'll stop my recording. So these, like if you want to print something onto the screen, you can make use of system.out.printf also can be made use of. If you want to print a message onto the screen, so what is the message that you want to print? That message you have to enclose into double quotes. Okay, you have to put them into double quotes. Okay. Now remember that when I'm going to use my printf, it doesn't add a new line character like your println. So if you want to add a new line character, then you're going to use the \n, you're going to use it. Okay. Now printf has one facility for me. So what is that facility? If I want to print an integer value, I want to print. Okay, let's say I want to print the integer. I want to print the integer value. Then we use a format called %d format. We'll be using it. Okay. Similarly, if I have a string to be printed, we'll use the format %yes. Now, if you want to print a float value, then you're going to use a format percentage F like this. Understood? How it is, for example, let us say I'm having integer a z variable is there whose value is 10. I want to print that. Then what I do is I write system dot out dot println, sorry, printf, open the double quotes. Now I want to use value is equal to percentage d, I'll be writing it, double quotes, comma, z, I'll be writing like this. So when I write like this, what will happen? We'll be printing the value of this variable called z in place of this percentage d. So in the output, I will not see the percentage d, I will not be saying it. What will happen? I'll see the value of that variable called z. So whatever the variable you are used here outside, right? That variable's value will be printed here. You will not see in the output percentage d, you will not be seeing it. You see value of that variable. Okay. The value of the variable will be seeing it in percentage d. You will not see the percentage d in the output. That you have to remember. Let us take example and check. Now here the same one I want to write that. Okay. So what I'm doing is instead of writing println, I'll use printf values. So printf reminder is equal to, if you want to print, then what I need to do, I'll do one thing, 1 second. I'll just copy the code now onto this, the solution, I'll copy it. Yeah. So this is my number, first number, second number I'm reading. Now instead of using println, we'll use printf will use now. Now reminder is equal to percentage f, I'll be writing because it's a float variable. Now you'll not use plus here, but you'll use comma there. Okay, like this one also will use the same method. Let us see. For everywhere, wherever I'm having my println is there, I'll change it to printf. So now sum is equal to percentage f, I'm writing. Now you'll not use plus there, but you'll be using comma. It's equal to percentage. Okay. Now let's run the code. Now it asks me two numbers, 10, 20 I'm giving it. Now you see, it's going to print me the reminder. See in the output, I'm not seeing the percentage d, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing the value of that variable. So what I have used here, for example, reminder is equal to percentage f. You see, you're not seeing that percentage f, you're not seeing it here. I'm seeing the value. What value I'm seeing it? The value of this variable, what I'm using it? Outside my double quotes, comma res, I'm writing it there, it's going to print me the value of that one. And also you see that what, so next line I'm writing printf, then sum I'm writing, but it is not printing me in the next line, it is printing me in the same line. So if you want to print that one on the second next line, so here either you can add a backslash n here or before itself. So anywhere you want, you can add the backslash n. I'm using the backslash n there, I'm adding it. And then let's run the code and check my output. So 10 and 15 I'm giving it. Now you see, reminder, okay, some difference. What happened? It is printing me in the next line. It is printing me in the new line. What you call it is the backslash n. Okay, this is one method how you can make use of the printf. So printf can also be used in another slightly different method also we can make use of it. So let us say that you want to print the two variable values. Okay, to print two values, right? Two values I want to print. Then what you can do is you can use system dot out dot println, sorry, printf. I'll be using value 1 is equal to percentage d, okay, and value 2 is equal to percentage d. Then a comma b I'm writing it like this. Understood? You'll be writing it. Now, for example, so here in my output, so I want to print just, it is printing me reminder. Okay. I'll just select this. Okay. So I'm just copying the solution over here after this. Now, instead of just printing this, I want to print. Okay. I want to print percentage F. Okay. Divided. Fine. Okay. I want to print something like this. So percentage F, it's going to print me my number. Then, so you want to print the symbol there. So I'm using double percentage. I'm using. So percentage F. Reminder is equal to percentage F is equal to give. Let's see what is going to print the output for us. And then I explain you again. So N1 comma N2 I'm writing. Okay. So here what I'm doing, sum. Okay. Percentage F and percentage F sum is equal to percentage D I'm writing. So it's N1 comma N2. Okay. So instead of using and here, I'll say plus. So in the output, I want to get percentage F minus percentage F. Oh, okay, fine. I'll explain you this method only, then we'll discuss. Okay, we'll get back to that. So now in the output, I want to get product percentage F into percentage F is equal to percentage F I'm writing. So here I'll be writing N1 comma N2. Now here I'll be writing N1 comma N2 comma. Then here also. So quotient means slash, right? So I'll be writing percentage F slash percentage F is equal to percentage F. Let us see the output and analyze what we are trying to do. I'm writing 10, 20, I'm writing. Okay, so you see, so what happened now? So when I'm trying to print it, so in the line number 12, it says there is an error. Okay, that is what it is showing me. The name of my program is first.java colon 12. So what is this colon 12? Colon 12 is your line number. This is my place where I'm getting my error. So I'll add 2 percentage symbols I'm adding it. Now let's run it and check. 10, 20. So now what happened? So you see that it's giving me the properly. So earlier, when I was giving only 1% symbol, it was giving me the exception saying that there is something wrong there. Now, if I want to print 1% symbol, like for example, here I wanted to print the percentage D plus symbol I want to print. What I have done, I have used only one plus symbol I have used. If I want to print 1% symbol I have to print, then I'm supposed to write 2% symbols I have to write on screen. Okay. So I'll just remove this message reminder. So this sum is there. This reminder also I'll rest. This message also I'll remove. You understand what I'm doing here? So if I want to print 1% symbol onto the screen, I have to write 2% symbols I have to use. So this is why, because Java understands following the percentage, it is some formatting character. What is that? Either it is an integer or it is a float number or it's a double number, what you want to print. It is expecting some format there. But if you're not giving anything there, then it will understand what? Oh, you have missed something. It's not, I'm not able to understand. It gives me the message onto the screen. Now, if I don't want that one to happen, I want Java to ignore that. I'm telling my Java to print a single percentage, it has to be printed. Then I'm using 2% symbols I'm going to place there, so that Java understands that it has to print 1% symbol onto the screen. Another one, it has to ignore it. So it ignores it and it prints only 1% symbol onto the screen for it. Understood? Okay, that's the formatting character. So this you have to understand. Yeah. So any questions over here?
స్కానర్ క్లాస్. ఆ స్కానర్ క్లాస్ లో మనకు ఎర్రర్ వచ్చినప్పుడు మనం క్లిక్ చేస్తాం ఇంపోర్ట్ జావా ఎడిటర్ దాకా మనం ఒకసారి ఎర్రర్ వచ్చినప్పుడు అక్కడ మనం ప్రతిసారి ఎర్రర్ వచ్చినప్పుడు దాన్ని సూపర్ పెట్టి యాడ్ అవుతుంది. అది డైరెక్ట్ ఆన్సర్ ఇచ్చేస్తుంది. ఆన్సర్ అంటే మామూలు ఎర్రర్ పోతుంది. అది కొన్నిసార్లు రాంగ్.
Something you would have done mistake. You have done some mistake, you would have done it. See, once you fix that error, it says that you need to add the command, import command has to be added. If you add that import command once, so there won't be any mistakes for you. No, you would have done some mistake, like maybe in system.in you would have done a mistake, something like that. Okay, just check it up what you have done a mistake. Okay, you understood this, how we have written the code here? So there are multiple ways how you can print the outputs onto the screen. This is one such method. Yeah. Oh, no. We have to initialize that variable. Any variable that you are going to use in your Java, it has to be initialized. Understood? For example, I'm having this variable called res is there. I cannot directly print the value of the variable because Java doesn't know what value is there in that variable, and Java doesn't assign a 0 value or some other value. It will not assign to the variables. It is the programmer responsibility to assign a value for the variable, and then you have to use it. Okay. For example, what we are doing it here, we are using a variable called n1. I have declared it here. And here what I'm doing, I'm assigning some value, then I'm using it here. It is allowed for you to do it. You cannot directly see without assigning. For example, let us say I'm not using this statement. I'll make this another remark statement. Okay, now you see automatically n1 has been given an error for me. It's giving. It says what? n1 is not initialized. It says any variable, if you want to use it, it must be initialized in your program. That means you need to put some value into that, then only you can use it. Without putting a value into a variable, you cannot use that variable directly in your Java. Okay, so Java makes sure that you are going to have some value into the variable and then you are using it. That is for every variable, whatever may be the variable you are declaring in your program, all the variables, it will follow the same rule. Yeah, so any questions? Any questions?
We are not into values initialization.
So for example, I don't want to read the values from the user. Okay, I don't want to read the values from the user. Understand what I'm telling? I don't want to read the values from the user. I want directly to be used. Okay, what I do is I'll just say n1 is equal to 10 here, and then n2 is equal to 5. I'm giving it. Now we run the program. It will work for you. It will not read any value from you, but directly be printing the output file. So earlier what we did, we read the value from the user and then we were printing it. Understood? Like that. Okay. It's your wish. It depends upon you, like how you want to write the coding. Understood? Generally, this is the best method. So what we do is, we'll ask you to type the values. Okay. Done. Okay. So any questions you have? Okay. So we'll do one thing. So we'll stop the class here. We'll continue on tomorrow. Okay.